We'll do it again.
We have to. I didn't plan on shaming you publicly.
At least
but...
I'm not wearing a sweater.
Well, you're wearing the sweater. What is up, everybody, and welcome in to the DNVR Nuggets
Right on
podcast.
time.
Right on time.
Right on time.
Oh, we are late today, aren't we? We are still waiting for our esteemed guest today, Joel Rush, who's flying in from Japan. Flight's a little late, but we should hopefully have him, we think, relatively soon.
Yeah.
One of the OGs in the Denver Nuggets online community. He'll be joining us any moment, but I do still have my esteemed colleague, Brendan Vogt.
Esteem. I like that. I don't know if anyone else uses that for me,
Just me?
in any context, but I'll take it.
You only use it when you're introducing guests on a podcast.
That's right.
It just shows how much I love you and
Thank
how
you.
deeply.
Wow, that's surprisingly since I'm waiting for the punchline.
There's no punchline. There's no punchline.
No, it's
Over here, though, something I don't love.
Mm.
Sweatpants on a 100-degree day.
Yeah, let's talk about it some more. It's really hot out.
Well, okay. I'm actually not that hot in this studio. The fan's going. I'm actually fairly comfortable.
You're lying.
B, I've sworn never to wear shorts on this show, and I never will. You will never see me wearing shorts.
Be proud of those
On
legs,
this
baby.
set.
Let those legs breathe.
And also, I'm all about comfort. I'm comfortable right now.
Yeah. We're presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook,
Yeah.
America's top rated. I know you're not. America's top rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR when you sign up. Sign up today, guys, because tomorrow,
Whoa.
Andre, our betting expert, is going to be joining us for our draft show and giving us. It's so fun. Like, betting on the draft is so fun because you're betting on like who gets picked where. Then it just gives you dumb things to like root for when that happens. You're like, ah. So he's going to be giving us those. We're all going to be betting together. You don't have to. You can bet on your own people, but we're all going to be betting together and hopefully celebrating together. Last year it worked out, and so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Last year, Andre handed out a bunch of winners. Like
He did,
a bunch of winners. I think it was Pac-12 players to get chosen in the first round or
yeah,
something
it was like fun,
that.
Yeah. The fun
Winner.
ones.
Absolute winner.
So I played ball yesterday.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
It went great. We won. But it was funny because I felt so terrible. It was a late game. I like ate a burger right before I went and played. Just play like I've never physically felt as
In-N-Out?
bad as I did. Hell no. You think I'm going to eat In-N-Out?
I don't.
Had some
No,
Freddy's.
I just wanted to set you up.
It was delicious. It's just not a food you eat right before playing, especially at 38 years old. But I remember like when I was coming home, I'm like, man, this is the least mobile I've ever felt. I felt so bad while playing. And then I came home and watched Team USA play Iran. And, you know, I'm watching Hamad Haddadi, and I'm like, that's
Yeah.
me.
Unbelievable.
That's me right
I
there.
actually thought the same
I
thing.
did the thing where you're like, that's me. He looked so slow. So slow. Did you watch this?
I watched it, man. I watched it. He looked like he should definitely not have been playing in that game. I was concerned for him. I think he did get injured at one point,
He
just
did.
like jumping.
Yeah, he did get injured.
He didn't really land on anybody or anything. He just got hurt.
Yeah.
I was very worried about him every single time he ran up the floor. I thought something bad was going to happen to him on every single play.
It kind of reminded me of like Luis Scola trying to run up and down with Bam at a buyout, and you're just like,
Yeah,
you know, it's really
yeah.
cool to see you playing, but it's not as cool to see you.
Iran's game plan definitely just get the ball to Haddadi. Like, that was the number one thing and probably the only thing on their game plan. High usage Haddadi night.
7'2", 254 pounds.
He's enormous, man.
36 years old. That's
36? I didn't realize he was that old.
That's like a long.
That's my
He
age.
has
So he
not
actually
aged
did
well.
look just
He has
like
not
I
aged
do.
well.
Yeah, he's not aged.
Moving out there. He's not aged
But
well.
he's awesome.
But you know what? Team USA did get the win, and they looked dominant. Now I know it was, you know, maybe the worst team in all of the Olympic whatever, but the thing that stood out to me about last night's game that's kind of noteworthy is that Team USA moved the ball. Like, they passed the ball really well. It's easy to do that against teams that aren't necessarily great defensively and can't match you athletically. And, you know, the U.S. they don't have the athletic advantage isn't as pronounced against some of these other teams. Like Nick Batum knows what
Sure.
NBA speed is. Some of these guys last night probably not as familiar with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, even relative to expectations, I thought they looked good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that far.
You don't want to hype them up?
No.
We're back, baby.
I'm not hyping Team USA up after that. I mean, yes, it's a lot easier to make threes against a team when you're like up by 20. Like, it just is.
And
I'm not gonna take that much away from. Yeah, the ball movement was great. Yeah, they played well. Yeah, they were hitting shots. I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's got to be the bar. You know, when Kevin Durant and the likes are playing against that team, that's got to be the bar.
It is nice, like, when you're a player, it's just nice to get a win, and you're like, oh, man, we're Team USA. We can be dominant.
Right.
That will help them. But we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought they shot the ball well. You know who? There's a guy I've really changed my opinion on that I'm kind of surprised over. Not today or last night.
Devin Booker?
No. Although him too.
I mean, he on Team USA looks like Bob Sura on the Pistons.
Oh,
not good.
I was gonna say,
what are we
flesh
talking
that
about
one out. Yeah,
what are we talking
Not good.
What a weird comp that was. All right. No, the guy whose my opinion has changed is Zach Levine. I used to not be a Zach Levine guy, and it wasn't last night. I'm saying this is a process, but I think last night watching him, I was like, I love how he plays. I actually really like it. I might be a Zach Levine fan. I might go as far as to say that. Not only does he score the ball, I mean, he kind of reminds me of Jamal Murray in a lot of ways, just the way he's like so comfortable scoring off the bounce and running the pick and rolls or whatever. But I even kind of like, I'm watching Damian Lillard play, and he shot the ball well last night. But I'm like, Zach Levine can do a lot of the same stuff. What's different about him? Offensively, they might be comparable players.
I think of Zach Levine as in a place where honestly Devin Booker might have been in before last year.
yes, great. I was just
Where
at that point.
if Zach Levine was playing with DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul, and for a coach like Monty Williams with the perfect roster around him, what would we think of Zach Levine? Like, we might think of him, as we think of Devin Booker right now, to be quite honest. Maybe he's like a slight step, a quarter step below the player Devin Booker is, but it's all about situation, man. It's all about situation in the NBA, especially with these guys who, have this empty stats label assigned to them. It's all about situation, who they're playing with, and how many games that team is winning. Because if Zach Levine and Devin Booker switch places, we'd probably talk about, them completely differently.
I think they were probably categorized by a lot of people, at least for me, in a similar way, like you're describing, the empty calories.
Yeah.
And the Devin Booker run was, and listen, some guys are empty calorie guys, but it was a good reminder that what you just said, context fit.
Team USA also had a starting lineup change.
They did have a starting lineup change.
Yeah.
What do you make of it? Devin Booker in the starting lineup.
I mean, again, it's Iran. I mean,
conceptually, it is funny that they play three guards.
Who did they start the first game?
Was it Draymond? I think it was. Wasn't he on the starting group? Yeah.
So Draymond for Bam, Holiday and then
Holiday's there.
Booker's
you got
in there,
and Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
So you go three guards, all play pretty much the same height. Then Kevin Durant, then Bam. I mean, honestly, it might be the right mix. They just don't have a great point guard. That's the one thing about it. They have some good defense. Drew Holiday, once again, just is a stud defensively. Can I say one other thing about Devin Booker? I might have made this point during the playoffs. Devin Booker, if you compare him now to when he came into the league, he is so much thinner. And I really do think he had a great year. I think that was part of it. He just was in ridiculous shape. I mean, he looks, and maybe he stays in that, but he is just so thin and so lean. And I just wonder, with Jamal, I think in the bubble was the leanest I've ever seen him, and also the best of it we've ever seen him. And I wonder if I think at that level, just being as cut as you almost dangerously so, when you're like that. That's just the way you get the most out of you. You're that much quicker.
And I wonder when you're his age too. I mean, we can only guess, but how keen are you on either saying, let's get this rest, my body needs a rest, or I'm in the best shape of my life, let's keep playing hoops, let's keep this thing rolling.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a little bit more high on Team USA. A little bit more.
Quick side note: I'm looking at the USA France box score. I didn't catch this game live, so I didn't know this. Apparently, both Draymond Green and Bam Adebayo started.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Together.
That was the replacement. Yeah.
Why would you
Devin
start
Booker.
those two guys together?
It's traditional 4 or 5 kind of, I think, is the idea.
Wow.
More size inside. France a little bit bigger.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting.
I mean, clearly it was
choice.
a bad pair. Clearly it wasn't the way they're going to go. I want to talk about the draft here. I just got a message from Joel. He missed his bus and is walking in 100-degree heat. So we're going to get a very sweaty Joel here momentarily.
Wait, how long is he walking?
Well, he told me where he was at. It's not too far away, so he should be here in 5 minutes. Probably by segment 2 he'll be here. But I do.
Someone sent Joel a car.
Yeah, somebody go pick this guy up.
But I just want to ask on the eve of the draft, and again, of course, our coverage begins tomorrow at 5:45. Should we run down our guest list real quick?
Yeah, let's hype up the guest list.
Let's hype this up.
Let's flex.
All right, we got Swipe a Cam in the house. We got Ryan Blackburn in the house.
Legend.
Oh, online. We've got Matt Moore.
Matt Moore.
We've got Kristen Peak.
We've
of
Yahoo Sports.
We've got Marcus Howard.
Marcus Howard of
the Denver Nuggets. And possibly even George Karl. Like, that's a murderer's row of guests that we're going to have for tomorrow. I can't wait. I'm going to be so hyped. As well as, the fan vote with people here live at the bar. Come on down. You too can be on. We can add your name to the guest list if you come on down. It's just going to be a great time. I'm so excited for this. But I wanted to ask you.
Are people more excited for Swipa or Marcus Howard?
Maybe both. Maybe you don't have to pick.
Based on the comments, maybe Swipa.
You don't have to pick. One of my questions I want to ask, though, about the eve of the draft, do you feel different? Like, do you feel like some momentum going in a direction one way or the other? Do you feel like maybe your perspective on what you're about to expect is changing?
In terms of what the Nuggets might do?
Yes.
No. I feel pretty confident in kind of what I've been saying all along, that they're probably most likely to stick at 26 and just take the guy that falls to them. I think they're confident.
But even the pick, do you feel like it's probably going to be one of the guys you anticipate? We talked about Springer or McBride.
I feel like there's a group of 5 or 6 guys.
Right.
Okay.
Springer, McBride, DeSunmo. Who else is in that group? Primo, although I've heard Primo's not going to be there at 26.
Okay.
It's like you probably have to move up for Primo into the 20s or into the early 20s, maybe late teens.
Okay.
Quentin Grimes, we haven't talked about him in a while, but I feel like he might be the guy too.
Okay.
I feel like that's the pick where no one will groan. You know what I mean?
All the ones we just said?
No. I think if
Grimes
was the pick, I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh.
Is this your first day on the internet?
I
Say
don't
it's a
know
little
what that's
early.
rooted in.
It might be a little early for Grimes.
Yeah.
But you can make the case.
I don't think anything's early at 26, though. That's the thing
Right.
about it.
If you have your guy at 26,
do you remember?
just take him.
Do you remember when Sacramento took Papagiannis at like 12 or 11 or something like that? That like at 11, 12, 13, those are reaches when you take a guy that was projected to go 30. But at 26, you take someone that's 35, 40. It's like, come on.
Grimes at 26, that's fine.
No.
Like, what are you going to do? Take him
Now,
early second round? Same thing.
Now, what about this one? Do you feel like the draft tomorrow in general? Because tomorrow, trade. This happens every year. Man, phones are busier than normal right now, guys. Like, I would expect some
people around the league expecting a flurry of trades.
Like, do you kind of share that sense? Like, would you be shocked? What do you predict tomorrow will be? Lots of trades, regular amount of trades, fewer trades than usual.
Regular amount of trades.
Yeah, I don't know about amount, but I do. Like, you guys saw the Ben Simmons update today. So, is the asking price going to be too high? Probably, but there's a chance, another star is on the move in draft night, or at least that prospect will hang over the night.
Yeah.
The number one thing I want to see tomorrow night is I want to see Oklahoma City come in with a Godfather offer for a top 3 pick. I want them to just be like 5 first-round picks and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for number 2. Like, tell us no.
Yeah.
Tell us no. Like Detroit or Cleveland or Houston. Tell us no.
We always root for chaos. It's just fun when there's chaos.
Love chaos.
I kind of expect tomorrow, I would say regular as well, but I do think there'll be some big rumblings, some big rumors. It is funny, man. One of the reports, if we talk about Team USA, one of the reports that came out from Windhorst was Draymond Green, very active in like recruiting.
That's his sole purpose of being on the team.
It really is. It's so funny to think about. Why are guys there? It's like actually the reason you join Team USA now is it's part of why I'm kind of glad Michael Porter's not there.
Yeah. And there are also those rumors of Damian Lillard just like talking shit about the Blazers at a team dinner. You see those?
No, really?
Yeah, there's just one team dinner apparently where Lillard was just airing all his grievances about the Blazers.
So we have the meme, Adam Mares, Damian Lillard, talking about shit about the Portland Trail Blazers over dinner.
At dinner.
Yeah, that's why I proposed that a fun segment during the draft show would just be a check-in on the Portland Trail Blazers. Just every like 30 minutes, see what's going on in Portland.
Oh, my God. I expect it. Let me ask this one. What would be a disappointing draft, in your opinion? I see a guest in the house.
Trading up.
Joel. Joel, come upstairs.
Trading up for Mitchell, which is
that would be a disappointment to you. What if it's cheap? What if it's like Bol? Is PJ Dozier cheap in that scenario? I don't even know if he's considered
that's
cheap.
exciting to me, man. Like that'd be exciting. Like Tim
like
Conley
Dozier.
going up to get his guy.
I mean, look,
that
it's
would be
the kind of
exciting
thing
for me.
that I'd be prepared to be like, oh, I'm wrong, and he's great, and this is awesome. I'm not sold on it enough where if they gave up assets to get there.
Yeah.
But who cares what I think? Joel,
come on in, man. Come on in. We got a seat for you right here. I'm so excited for this.
Hey, man.
In the sweltering heat. Actually, here. Can you get him ice water?
Yeah,
Can
get
you
this
him
man
an
a
ice
drink.
water? Have a seat, Joel. Have a seat, man. Right here. Yeah.
Right here.
Live from Japan in the
it going,
flesh.
man?
I didn't know if we would
Yeah.
ever get to meet in person, man.
Yeah.
great to meet you,
This
brother.
is so cool.
How you doing?
This is too cool.
That's Brendan.
I forgot to introduce myself.
Pull on up. Why don't we hit an ad break here?
Yeah,
let
let's hit an
Joel
ad
get
break.
some water, get situated. Don't pass out on us.
I won't.
Don't pass out. Don't faint.
We're not
I'm on the
liable.
verge, but-
We're not liable here.
Let's take a break real quick. On the other side, guys, we're going to get right into this with Joel.
Yeah, guys, make sure to pick up some Mile High City Copper Lager from Breck Brew this week.
Real-
Make sure you got some for the draft. If you're watching our draft show at home, if you can't be at the DNVR bar and are taking it in on YouTube, on Twitter, have a Mile High City Copper Lager next to you. It's a great beer to sip for any occasion. If you're at a park, if you're going camping.
Oh, man.
You ready? You
I am
for the
ready.
camping trip?
I am ready.
right.
So ready. I'm actually not at all ready. I have like 40 major life things going on between now and next
Yeah.
weekend.
Well, make sure you have some Mile High City Copper Lager with
Will
you.
do. I will do.
Pick some up at Breck Brew at the farmhouse. If you're over there, pick some up at your local liquor store as well. Also, at manscaped.com right now, if you're a DNVR listener, if you're a DNVR member, you guys can get 20% off plus free shipping with the code DNVR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code DNVR at manscaped.com. Make sure to go to manscaped.com, check out the Lawnmower 4.0 with that 7,000 RPM motor, 4,000K LED spotlight. You also get with the performance package, you also get that $39 shed travel bag. Great value, awesome value. So go to manscaped.com, use the code DNVR for 20% off plus free shipping. Again, use the code DNVR at manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping.
All right, back here at DNVR Nuggets podcast, and we've got Joel Rush. You can go ahead and pull that in uncomfortably close to your mouth there. That's the way
This
it
is so
kind of works.
exciting.
Try to get situated here.
Joel, I honestly thought we'd never meet. So this is kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm happy that we can. I wasn't sure about that either myself. But
So what do you think? You've been in Colorado for, a couple weeks now?
yeah, I came in on the 15th, so
Okay.
it's been, for me, I've mainly been spending time with family, so it's been pretty chill.
Yeah, nice.
But hot.
When was the last time
it
you
is
were?
very hot here.
When was the last time you were back in the area?
2 years ago.
Okay.
We were planning to come back last summer as well, but
Right.
things got changed.
Sure.
Yeah.
What
You
happened?
guys won't know.
Some stuff happened.
I'm happy I finally made it specifically here to the DNVR bar.
You didn't even
Yeah.
get a chance to really peek around. Just had to
Yeah, I
hurry on in
definitely
here.
will.
Yeah. So we're kind of preparing for the drive. Actually, I had one last question. So you left during the Olympics. Was that intentional?
No, that was just my dad was coming from Phoenix to
Oh,
Denver
okay.
in the middle of July, so I planned my trip timing.
Oh,
around
nice.
this.
All right, so we're talking about the draft here, and the question was, what would make a disappointing draft to you? Tomorrow night, what would you look at and be like, man, they dropped the ball?
Well, we're jumping right into it.
Yeah.
aren't we?
Tough one.
Well, we're
brother.
kind of we're actually in the middle of the show now.
I'm dropping right into
This
it.
show is happening.
I mean, I always go back to 2017. How can I not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The equivalent of a Tyler Lydon.
Okay.
Um,
Someone we haven't really talked about too much, and
Which would be
is
weird
underwhelming.
because we've talked about a lot of guys.
a lot of underwhelming guys even. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying yesterday, there's not any guy I'm just super 100% stoked about. I like a lot of guys, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think, basically I want to see Tim Connolly go in with a plan and execute it. I think that's what went wrong in 2017 is they tried to get too cute by half and
Right.
kind of, drop the ball because of that. But they know their guys. Their scouting is already done. Like, I trust them to, pick a good. If it's a prospect that doesn't pan out,
Yeah.
so be it. But I think they're not looking for an NBA ready guy. They're not looking for a championship contributor. I doubt at 26, right? So
Well, yeah, 26 maybe not so much. More of a guy that you hope in a year or two's time is going to be a guy that helps as part of your rotation.
do you guys put much credence into this moving up thing?
We've talked about it at length.
I don't buy it. I mean, like I buy that Connolly could be making calls,
Sure.
but like I don't buy that they'll actually follow through and do it. But
I think we all kind of share that
Yeah.
sentiment. Yep.
But at
So
the same
assuming-
time, I would not be that surprised though to see them do it. I just, Conley really likes to draft and he's really good at it. So if he had a guy, again, you talk about having a plan. If they have a guy that's like, hey man, this is a guy that is going to be a difference maker. I don't see it, but if they see it and feel confident about it, then I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't think they'll get it done.
Yeah, that's the other question. I think there are teams that are in the teens and the early 20s that want to trade back. Like take Indiana, for example. Like Indiana hires Rick Carlisle. Like they're not trying to get a rookie and develop that. They're trying to, build off of last season. So I think that's a team that could trade back.
New Orleans is another one.
New
I think that, and actually, one of the things I have heard is that 15 to 20, 15 to 30. There's a lot of teams that have the 30th projected guy at 19, 18.
Right.
So it might be a little bit cheaper than most based on how flat it is in that zone.
Yeah, there's going to be opportunity, and we've seen with the Nuggets and Tim Connolly, if there's a guy that falls past the value that Denver pegs him at, and say a guy that they project at 10 falls to 16 or 17, kind of similar to how RJ Hampton fell last year from whatever the Nuggets had him rated at, he fell to 24. That was clearly much lower than Denver had him rated at. If that happens with another guy, you could see them get aggressive, I think.
Yeah.
And it can't hurt to just lay the groundwork for that, which I imagine is probably more what they're doing than, I don't imagine like right at the beginning of the draft they're moving up.
Right,
like
right,
you
right.
said, that would be something that happens in response.
Honestly, it would
to
happen
other
at the
factors.
pick that they were moving up. So if they were moving up to 17, it would probably happen at 16.
Because it's all about, we'll do this trade if the guy that we want is available there. So that's why it happens right at the pick.
And actually, half the time the picks are announced after the fact. So it'd be like New Orleans takes so and so, Chris Duarte, and then 18th pick comes up, and they're like, Denver has traded for the 17th pick.
Yeah.
And now, so.
But Joel, my feeling is the biggest barrier is the viability. Like what are the low to middling assets Denver has, right? That you can say these are expendable, because you pretty quickly get into Monte Morris territory, and sans any sort of other point guard coming in, Monte is essential, I think.
Totally. And also, like, the same reasons for those opportunities to move up existing are the same reasons, like you're talking about, like, what is the value of, throwing in assets to move up 3 spots if you're basically looking at a pool of roughly equivalent guys anyhow? Like, why not just stay at 26 and someone's going to fall to you there who you probably like anyways?
So I have an interesting philosophical question for you, Joel, because you brought up the too cute by half, and I think it's funny because you said half here, but the plan, I think it's pretty well publicized now that the plan was to get OG Anunoby. And Trey Lyles didn't work out, so it makes the plan look even worse. But let's say Trey Lyles is whatever. He's okay. 9th best player on your team. All right, whatever. OG Anunoby would have been a starter, and he would have been Aaron Gordon for Denver. What is the success rate on that kind of move that you feel like makes it worthwhile? Because they did trade back and got Nurkic and Gary Harris. That was a win. So they went 50-50 on being cute in the draft. Is that actually good odds? Meaning they hit one pretty triple and they struck out once. Is it, if they tried to do that again and you knew you had 50-50 chance to pull it off, a 50-50 chance to get it, is that a good draft odds?
I think the odds of Tim Connolly knowing who his guy is and just going and get him like he should have gotten Anunoby are much better than the odds of that kind of gamble working out.
Okay.
So I just trust Connolly and his scouting department to, just if you like a guy, just get him. And,
But I think they were trying to get 2 guys. Like in theory, if you got OG Anunoby and Trey Lyles, and all of a sudden you're like, we got 2 rotation pieces for 1 draft pick, and maybe they feel that same way this year. I'm just trying to throw out that hypothetical.
They're about to have 3 max contract guys, so I don't think they need to get 2 guys this draft.
Well, yeah. Just maybe if they feel like the guy that's going at 17 or something is like, hey man, that's more valuable to us than PJ Dozier, Bol, and whatever this pick is, and if we can get it.
Also, other teams are smarter now.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like Toronto.
There's only one Sacramento
Toronto
Kings
foiled
team.
that plan by picking Anunoby, right? Like,
so
you can't
I
trust
actually
other teams
don't
to be
think
dumb enough
Toronto
to not
foiled
pick
the
your
plan. I think, and I don't know this, but some of the intel I got shortly after was that it was actually Brooklyn who foiled the plan because they knew Toronto wanted him, but they wanted to trade up to get. So they were going to trade and then trade to get Brooklyn's pick because Brooklyn took Jared Allen that year, and they were saying Toronto had at that point 3 center. They had Valanciunas. They just had a bunch of guys, and it was like they are not going to take a center. You don't have to worry about them taking Jared Allen from you. So trade us. We'll throw in a second or something like that to try to get it, and they just wouldn't budge. And so it was more that he thought they could make this logical deal, and then they couldn't end up getting them to agree for whatever reason. So, anyway, it does come down to intel or what have you, but I don't know. For me, a disappointing draft. I mean, I'm with you. They take a player out of left field and maybe
or they trade back. That'd be disappointing too.
Trading back wouldn't be disappointing to me.
Like trading out of the draft?
If you got something for it. I mean, again, if you got if you just traded back for no reason, but if you traded back and were able to acquire a future first or, 2 picks in the second round that they had their guy there, I'd say, okay, we'll be interested. I don't know if they need 2 second rounders. Like Denver needs to start adding actual pieces.
They got the Grand Rapids Gold, man. They do need the second rounders.
I would say conversely that the most satisfying thing to me that they could do with that first round pick would be to just do a Jeremy Grant thing and trade it for an immediate contributor.
Right. That would to me that would also be a thing I would be looking for. Absolutely. Get somebody like that. I don't anticipate it, but that would be interesting for me. Yeah. Do you have a guy, Joel, in this draft?
This is the draft I'm least prepared for in years, just because planning this trip to come here. So many factors just kind of confluenced to kind of distract me from even engaging in that. So I'm the most clueless about this year's draft than I have been in a while.
Let me ask you this, because I was just talking to somebody as I was coming in, and I've been thinking about this for the last few days. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope tomorrow is a shot in the arm in terms of excitement or something that happens where I feel confident. I kind of feel like next year is a step back year for Denver. And look, it could come together at the end of the year. But I also just wonder if Denver is maybe it's smart for them to prepare for next year to be a step back year. Not throw in the towel, but just a year where they look at it and go, can we compromise ourselves to try to win next year? Or can we maybe compromise ourselves to set ourselves up for the future? Meaning maybe next year we don't feel that great about our odds to win a title, but we feel like it's a bounce back year and we'll go forward. I just wonder if that's the smart play, the pragmatic play.
Well, I think maybe unintentionally you saw the groundwork being laid for that when Michael Malone said they're going to rest Nikola Jokic 5 to 10 games next year. That was the first.
Yeah, you don't do that if you're missing Murray already and you want to get a 1, 2, or 3 seed.
Like they would probably do that. I mean, maybe they wouldn't. I would think they would do that even if Jamal Murray was healthy, because you could see the wear and tear that the season had on Nikola last year. But I asked Mike Malone that postseason, and I wasn't expecting him to come out with a definitive plan. Right. But he said that they did have a plan. It's we'll see if they stick to that. But I thought that was my first sign that maybe they're thinking along those lines too.
What do you think, Vogt?
I think this is the year where maybe the philosophy shifts in terms of every win, top seeding matters to us. The Nuggets haven't proven anything yet in terms of winning at all, but they have proven that they're a competitive team at their best, even more competitive than people think at their worst. So, particularly with regards to what Wynn just said, I mean, if it's they need to beat the Kings tonight, or let's time to get Jokic a rest, I think this is the year where maybe you.
Well, they might still lose to the Kings. Even
that's a great point. I picked
Kings is a great game to play against. Just tank those ones. Rashawn Holmes if he's back.
But I also. Well, just to put a bow on it, it'll be interesting because I think that goes against Malone's DNA as a competitor.
Sure.
Next year be a step back year? Should it be a step back year, given the circumstances?
You almost have to divide it into the first half without Jamal Murray and the second half with him. And do you think we'll get enough of Jamal Murray at the end of the season and in the playoffs that you could make up for what you're going to miss in the first half of the season? And it's pretty hard to predict, but I don't think you could see it as a year where you're going to improve on last season at the very least.
Right.
That would be unrealistic with Murray missing more than half the games. So,
but you don't want to punt either, because what's really weird and so tough about the timing of the Murray injury is that this is still a season where you can get. We'll see what happens with Barton, but you can get those 5 guys back on the court by the playoffs. Right. And shouldn't that be the goal if you can, considering how good they looked? So again, just the Murray thing throws a wrench in this for so many reasons.
They came out with the key dates for next season. And
that's right.
The regular season is going to end on April 10th. Regular season's going to end on April 10th.
Oh no, that's about right. That's about right.
That's pretty close to normal.
That
is
usually
normal.
the 12th.
Man, so Murray really might only have 5, 6
What I'm
weeks.
saying is Jamal Murray tore his ACL on April 12th. So if he comes back by the very start of the playoffs, that will be exactly a year.
Man, that's tough, man. That's a tough break. Yeah, you're right. If
So we should probably be actually preparing ourselves that he may miss the entire season.
I mean, I don't know, because I would, knowing Jamal, like, he's going to chomp at the bit to get back probably ahead of schedule. And, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he does come back.
But I
ahead
think
of
the
schedule.
general perception out there is basically that he'll miss, like, the first 2/3 of the season, roughly speaking.
and also
But,
just won't
it could
be
be more.
And I don't think we're going to get bubble Jamal next playoffs. I mean, that's always possible, but I just don't think you should plan on that. And I even wonder, he comes back March 1st, we'll say, which sounds realistically aggressive. If he comes back March 1st, is he the number 2 guy on the team? Probably not. I just don't know if it's like, hey, you're coming back, but this year,
right in the state that he's
this
in.
year, Monte's going to be the ball handler. You're going to be more off ball. We're going to play about 27 minutes per game, even in the playoffs or something. I don't know.
If you look at guys who come back from ACL injuries, I was looking at Zach Levine's game log from when he came back, and right when he comes back, it's a lot of 8 points, 12 points, 15 points, 6 points. So
right.
It's not like you come back from an ACL injury. Yeah, it's not like as big of an injury as it was years ago, but you don't come back and automatically average 25 a game.
Also, like, you think about what it would take to win a championship. Like, imagine him going up against Drew Holiday. I know that he's in the East, but I'm just saying that's playoff. It's not like you have to go out there and cook Devin Booker or something. Like, to win, you're going to have to go against some of your top defensive guys. Most likely, you're going to be matched up with at least one.
But can he be good enough
Correct.
that it still puts enough pressure on the defense and their game plan? Can he be used as a decoy or something more, screens and all that?
And here's where I want to really game theory this out is, let's project. It's so hard to do. I know this is so hard to do, but I'm just trying to think about Denver is trying to make a plan right now that will influence and impact not just the next season, but seasons to come, most likely. Do they set themselves up to be flexible, or do they lock in trying to go all in? If we game theory out who's going to be the number 1 seed next year, well, the Lakers are still, I think, the team that scares you if you're Denver, but Anthony Davis, LeBron James, it's just at this age, can we pencil them in for a 1 seed, even if we think they're the best team? I don't think so.
No.
I still think it's going to be really, really tough for those guys to get through a full season healthy. They're probably going to load manage. So maybe they're the 1 seed, maybe not. And if it's not them, is it Utah? Is it the Clippers? Is it the Suns? Is it
Clippers
any of
have
these
their
teams?
own ACL thing to figure out.
Is it anybody
not gonna be the
that you care
Clippers.
about that you're like, man, they can't do that? No, it's going to be tough in the first round. But as long as it's not, the one team that gives you the problems, does it matter if you are an 8 seed, 7 seed? I don't think you want to be 9-10 because then you got to win 2 playing games, which is tough.
Yeah.
But if you get yourself to where you just need to win 1 or 2 to get in, maybe that's part of Denver's factoring.
Yeah,
Is they're like, we can be an 8 seed.
We've seen Denver can win a series in 6 games now, so you don't necessarily need the home court advantage every series.
Yeah. So I don't know. The reason I put this is I keep thinking about all the scenarios for Denver and even the good ones, like what would it mean for them to show a commitment to winning? And I'm like, does that win? I don't know. You get Will Barton back, and
watch us say this, and Nikola Jokic plays in every game and has like an even better season.
Michael Porter. But see, those things are a given. Like, we're not talking about Jokic not being here. We're not talking about Michael Porter not being here and being better. So we're really just talking about Will Barton, JaMychal Green, the draft pick. Do they add a player like a Reggie Bullock or some veteran X? And I don't know. Just
Reggie Bullock.
Reggie Bullock.
Throwing a name out
I
there.
just look around Baltimore people, and I'm like, what Baltimore person is going to come to
Jeff
Denver?
Green's kind of DMV area.
Yeah. Is he?
Kind of.
All right, well, throw him out there.
He might be in line for more than $9.5 million, though.
Jeff Green?
Right? Is he under contract right now?
No, he's free agent.
He's a free agent, but he was on a minimum.
Yeah, but he had a good run.
Right, he did.
Yeah, but that's still a big jump. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's just I've said this a lot of times. This is the first year where I don't see a linear, like, oh, the next step is this. Like, this step might be a step forward. It might be a step back. It might be a step sideways. This is the first year. I'm not quite sure.
I think in meta terms, basically, if the Nuggets have their way, they're going to really circle back to continuity. I think they love their philosophical underpinnings of we don't skip steps and build patiently, and continuity is just as important a pillar of all of that. And I think they were really shaken by Jeremy Grant leaving last year.
Yeah.
And they scrambled well, scraping up Facu and the other pieces they did along the way. But, like, that's not their preferred mode of operating. They want to stick with their guys and stay loyal to their guys. So I think, like, if they have their way, Barton's coming back, Jermichael's coming back, and, like, it'll be a pretty boring offseason if they can, like, I think they probably just want to hold the fort for now, while Jamal's gone. Try to keep things as normal as possible, as same as possible, until we find out what happens when Jamal gets back, and then, allow enough flexibility to make those decisions when we cross that bridge next year. But I think trying not to lose ground is probably the immediate goal.
Let's along those lines, let's play a game. Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all surprised, I expect it, 10 being completely shocked. Where would you be if Will Barton is not on the team in 2 weeks?
Which one is?
1 is not at all surprised. 10 is extremely surprised.
I would say a 3. I mean,
so you would.
I wouldn't be shocked if he stays or goes. I just think there's.
But you're
a lot
slightly
of
less shocked if he goes.
Well, I guess I'd say a 5 then.
Okay.
I'm just
right in the middle.
Not shocked about anything that would happen with him because I think it's hard to know what's happening upstairs.
Harrison.
Wait. 1 is I'm.
How is this the hardest scale anybody's ever thought of?
1
10 is
sized Jokic.
Just flabbergasted.
Okay.
1 is like, yes, I thought so. That's what I was expecting.
4.
Slightly less. You slightly expect him to go.
Oh no, 6.
Okay.
I slightly expect him back.
I love this.
Am I an idiot?
Look, if we're playing a game, I need like a graphic to know like what we're doing. So no, 6. I slightly expect him back.
Vote.
Right, so which one?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Because I think there's kind of like a line in the sand where you go, makes a ton of sense for Denver, then very quickly starts to make less sense. And I can conceive of some teams like the Knicks, for instance, or the Spurs saying, here's 360.
Yeah.
And if you're Barton, I think that's hard to turn down.
That's the years that's going to be toughest with Barton, I think.
Then the salary. Yeah, it is tough to say.
They could give him 2 for 18 apiece if they needed to, but like giving him 3 for 50 or 55 would be, once you get into like MPJ's presumed max extension kicking in and all that. Like,
one thing I keep telling people is that there's multiple uses for cap space. I don't think the Kroenkes will do this. It's not their MO, but you can overspend this summer so that you have more trade flexibility going forward.
Sure.
This is the Golden State Warriors situation right now. They have this inflated roster that didn't even make the playoffs, but it allows them now to make big swings and make deals now that they are ready. So that's one. I don't expect the Kroenkes have never done that. Like, we're going to pay for a team that will not win.
Right.
But we can down the road maybe translate that into a team that does. Like, that's so risky. I'm a 3. Maybe 2.5. Like, I almost at this point, I pretty much expect Will Barton to be gone. I wouldn't be surprised if he did come back, but I would be a little bit more surprised if he did than didn't.
I'm just curious, like, what the market is going to see his value as, because, like, if New York offers him like 3 years at 60 or something and a starting job, then he's not going to be in Denver anymore. But is New York going to do that?
Memphis was a spot I thought was a target for him, or that I thought, okay, maybe they'll take him. But that trade, by all accounts, was a trade for Memphis to take Giddey, who is their guy, who would fill the same role. So I wonder, that makes me think that they are less likely now. And also, they took on some contracts to do that. So,
and he doesn't really fit their timeline either.
Yeah.
I don't know what Memphis's timeline is, though.
He would have fit their timeline
if they're taking Giddey.
Before this trade, he fit their timeline. He was just a veteran
now
on a young roster, but you know what? He'll get them through the next 3 years, and they might contend during that period. So I don't know. All right, what about Monte Morris? I'll start over this time. He's not on the roster after tomorrow's draft, or maybe
at least an 8 or a 9 or a 10. I'd be blown away. Again, I just think if Murray's healthy, you go, there's a lot of guards on this roster. Morris might have some value, but of course without him, it's he has to start. He has to play a lot. So I don't.
I'm in a similar boat. I mean, look, when we were talking about the trade up scenario,
this is the part of why I brought it up.
They don't have a ton of guys that they can throw out there. I feel like to trade up, Monte is a guy that I feel like teams would want, is on a very cheap salary, is easy to trade. It's like, that's the one scenario where I could see it, but even then, I'd still go, 6 or 7. I'd be pretty surprised if he was not on the team.
Joel?
Probably 8 or 9. Like, I think the Nuggets would need almost like a real starter point guard in exchange for Monte Morris in order to give him up. Just with Jamal being out for the beginning of the season, like, they value him too highly, not only for his point guarding, but also for his presence in the locker room and as a leader and all that. And I just think, like, it would take more than, like, the 14th pick or the 15th pick to pry him away at this point, because I think they would just see him as not being able to afford losing him. He's more valuable to the Nuggets than any other team.
I'm at an 8 for the same reason. If your point guards are Dozier and Facu, like, that's risky. It could work, but it's risky. PJ Dozier, we'll go quick on this one. PJ Dozier, what do you think, Joel?
2. Like,
so you could see him being gone.
I think they really like him, but I think he's also more easily tradable.
Okay.
And, more of a just kind of fluid asset.
Okay, interesting.
6. I expect him to be back.
But only slightly.
I would say
no. I don't think like anything is locked in stone.
Just you wouldn't be that surprised. You just wouldn't be that surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say 6 or 7 too, because of a point you made to me, which is, how much value does PJ Dozier have to other teams right now?
Yeah,
maybe not that much.
Maybe not that much. It's hard to say. Last one we'll do. Michael Green, Harrison.
Man, 4.
So you think he's gone?
Slightly
more leaning towards it. Okay.
Look, like if he opts out of that, he opted out of the deal because he can obviously is going to have interest.
Yeah.
Like, you don't opt out of that deal if you don't have interest.
Yeah. But that picture at Red Rocks.
That was a convincing picture.
I mean,
I thought he was opting in after that, I tell you.
He might have just opted out because his agent might look. There's no reason you can't get another $2 million from Denver, even if that's where you want to stay. So 5 probably for me.
Joel.
Yeah.
I think a 7 or 8. Like, I feel like
he'll be back.
He just seemed so genuinely satisfied with being in Denver after signing, and he seems like a guy who doesn't play, media games about. Like, he kind of speaks his mind, and what he says is
definitely
what he's thinking. And I think he probably wants to be back in Denver, assuming they give him a deal that he will find with enough years. Like, at his age, he'll be looking for years. But with him, I'm a little less concerned about the years than with Barton, because I think his style of game will age fine. Like, he's not doing anything athletic pretty much already. So
he tries to dunk it very hard.
Also, I feel like he had a little bit
I do love it.
Of value depression over the course of the season, perhaps. Some stretches that
definitely
he didn't look so great. So I think that may, even though he's like a prototype player,
I think
he's valued.
He's like Monte, though, where everybody around the league knows him and loves him.
Right.
So, like,
he did have stretches like that, but then you look at the end of the season and his numbers, and it's just like, oh, that's exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's exactly what he's done his entire career.
Yeah. All right, let's hit our break. On the other side, I want to ask Joel a couple questions just about covering the league in Japan, talking to Michael Malone this year. He got all the Michael Malone treatment. We'll talk a little bit about that. But then later on, to close the show, as we always do on Wednesdays, guys, we're going to snake draft. Joel doesn't even know this. We're going to snake draft Star Wars character. You're a Star Wars guy, right?
I am a Star Wars guy.
So I figured you were going to crush us all.
You won't need to prep, brother.
We're going to snake draft Star Wars, guys. Spoiler alert. Who got the first pick?
Brennan has the first.
Where's Joel picking?
Third.
All right, you're
For
picking
competitive
third.
balance sake.
Let me guess, I'm picking last.
No,
Oh.
Wait, who's last?
I think it's Adam.
Damn it! I only had a 3. It is Harrison. I was going to say it's a 3-man draft here.
Oh, no.
and Twitter votes on the winner.
3-player draft.
Okay.
My computer died and my note's not in my phone.
Oh.
Son of a gun. I know my first pick.
Imagine if that happened, like, on draft night. Like
No,
GM's
not.
computer just dies and he gets to draft off his phone. Let's see here. Right now at Illegal Pete's, guys. How about we all go down to Illegal Pete's after this show? Anyone in? Anyone in? They've got...
I'm not wide. Joel just walked like 20 blocks in the heat, and I'm not walking 2 blocks in the heat.
They've got happy hour at all their locations from 3 to 6 p.m. every day. $1 off drafts, $1 off house and coin style marks, $20 party marks, $1 off large chips and queso, and large chips and guac. Free chips and salsa if you're drinking at the bar as well. Yeah, dude, Joel's ready to go. Joel's ready to go.
Eyes of the world, number 1.
They also have a sound check promotion going on. An ongoing promotion at all locations that offers a free draft beer or house mark with the purchase of an adult entree when a guest shows a same-day ticket to any event. So if you're going to a Rockies game, maybe, take advantage of that sound check promotion. That's going on at all Legal Peace locations right now. Also at DraftKings, they've got some really great promos going on for the Olympics. Right now, you can place any pre-event wager of $1 to be eligible to cash $100 in free credits if America wins any medal this year. That's $100, or that's 100 to 1 odds on any American athlete to stand on the podium and receive gold, silver, or bronze this week. So really basic, free money from DraftKings. Bet $1. If the USA gets one medal this week, you're going to cash $100 in free credits. So make sure to download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free credits if the USA wins a medal. That's code DNVR to turn $1 into $100 in free credits. For a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook, must be 21 or older, Colorado only, new customers only, restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Finally, StravaCraftCoffee.com. Use the code DNVR25 for 25% off your first order from StravaCraftCoffee.com. Of course, packed with CBD. It can help relieve long-term migraines, back pain, arthritis, IBS, tons of other stuff as well. If you are a returning Strava customer, use the code DNVR20 for 20% off your order at StravaCraftCoffee.com.
Awesome. Final segment here, DNVR Nuggets podcast. One thing I did want to touch on very briefly, one of the high-profile stories in sports over the last 24 hours has been the Olympic women's gymnastics team winning the silver medal, and Simone Biles, electing not to participate in the team event. And, for mental health reasons, she cited even physically, she felt like she was putting her body in danger. But also, I think, especially had to do with mental health, and she mentioned mental health, and even referenced the difficulty of being inside this Tokyo bubble, and just how different it feels. And my big takeaway, I think most people, understand that athletes, they know their own mental health and the stress and everything put on them. And, there's no need to, in my opinion, I know there's people that have been litigating her decision or this or that. I think that is happening on the fringe of people that are quite often on the wrong side of these types of debates. But the reason I wanted to bring it up was we just had a bubble last year. And I think that the further we get into this and the more we hear from athletes about the stress of that as a professional athlete, it was stressful for everybody, for all of us even, but for athletes that had to enter a bubble, they were in there for 2 weeks and it sounds like it was pretty stressful. It really, to me, more than anything, shed some light on how difficult the bubble was for basketball players. We heard these stories, players maybe wanting to get out. Will Barton called it jail. Giannis referenced it in his victory speech after Game 6. He talked about how last year felt so different because it was so weird and so difficult. I just wonder if you have any perspective. I'll start with you, Joel. If you have any different perspective now on the ball, that was 3 months they were inside that thing, isolated from most of the people they know and life as they know it. The further we get from that, and the more we hear, does it just sound like that was truly an anomalous playoffs?
Oh, it was absolutely an anomalous playoffs, not only for the bubble, but for all the basketball that happened in the bubble. But I do think, I go back to Michael Malone's, it may have been his kind of closing thing from his living room after this season, which in a way was kind of an extension of the bubble in terms of the pandemic, but just the sense of relief that was visible in his face that this season and the bubble season were both over.
Yes.
He just looked like a weight, like a 20-ton weight had been lifted off his shoulders, and I don't think any of us can really understand what it was like to be in the bubble, but we can at least, if you see someone with PTSD after the Vietnam War or something like that, the shell-shocked look on their face is kind of the same.
Well, Jamal Murray talking about how he slept 12 hours, 14 hours a day, in large part not just because he's getting rest, because it was that was the best way to pass my time, was just to fall asleep and not think about anything. I'm not trying to take anything away from Denver. I actually think, if anything, I'm almost more impressed with Denver. The fact that they were in there for so long, came back from 2-3-1 deficits when, look, it's easy to quit when you're down 3-1 anyway. But if you're down 3-1 and you're in what you consider to be a living hell or a jail, it's so easy to give in.
You got a free pass out the door.
You got a free pass.
There.
Man, if I lose, thank God I get to go home.
What if you're down 3-1 and down double digits in the third quarter of an elimination game? You're just one more quarter and we're out of here.
So for me, it's almost, I look at it and I'm just even more impressed and more sympathetic almost to the difficulty that they had to overcome.
I think it was hard in the moment to analyze those playoffs in a vacuum with that dynamic hanging over it, because on the one hand, you didn't just want to be constantly slinging out excuses. It sort of felt like, all right, let's just cover these basketball games. But on the other, there was this like mammoth in the room, right? Which is, this is not normal. And I don't think, I think we'll continue to peel layers off that onion for years to come as we talk to these players about this stuff. I mean, Malone, I'm sure you were on the call, Joel, as you were on those calls all year. At one point, someone asked him about the bubble, and he more or less said he wouldn't do it again. Like he wouldn't do that to his family. And so the extent to which it was difficult for them, I think we all knew, but wrapping our heads around it is going to be an almost futile exercise.
Yeah.
But I love that point about the comebacks. Like when you frame it like that, third quarter, down 20 or whatever it was, it's like, do I want to go to the club or do I want to try to win this game?
Forget the club. We can make it even softer. Do I just want to go home?
Yeah,
just
sleep
do
in
I
my
want to go
bed.
sit on a couch?
I mean, they talked about all the little things they set up for them. You've ever been on a resort for 5-6 days, and like by day 4, you're kind of like, the chocolate fountain's cool, the paddle board, this stuff is fun, but I'm actually over it. I don't really actually want. And that's how I think they were. They're like, we have the fishing boat, but by week 3, you're kind of like, I don't want to do the fishing boat. I don't want to do the bike ride. I don't want to play whatever games you're playing out on the lawn. Like, no, I just want to go home. So
I imagine that the last couple weeks that a team or the Nuggets were in the bubble, like Western Conference Finals, nobody is like going on like fishing. Like nobody, there's no like, oh, let's all go and like, hang out this night or something.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we're just gonna sleep and go play and sleep and then practice and play.
Ilitch's is awesome, but I know this from back in the day. A lot of parents would just take the kids that buy a summer pass instead of daycare, and then just drop the kids off at Ilitch's. And after like
Legendary.
4 days, the kids are like, Ilitch's sucks. I'm just gonna steal things.
Wait, what?
I'm telling you, if you drop a
really
12
specific.
Elitch's season pass, kid.
You already, so you
Are
got
you
dropped
saying that
off
you
every
stole
single
shit?
day.
Did you commit
All of middle school-
burglary
Middle
daily?
school just got, not daily, but it was like 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah, you're like, what else am I going to do? Ride this ride again? Not fun anymore. But you know what
So
is
you
fun?
just
Trying to
steal shit?
steal things and
So
just getting
Kale's a
into
kleptomaniac.
hitting on the other, the girl kids that are also there that got dropped off for
That's the thing,
daycare.
is it's just like a lot of 11 to 13-year-olds not knowing what to do.
Anyway, we'll keep it moving here, guys. We're gonna snake draft now. Star Wars characters. Joel is
Can
a
I make
Star Wars.
one last point on that?
Yeah.
Just,
No, Joel, Jesus.
Is it on 12-year-olds at Elitch's? Is this the point you're gonna make?
Burglary?
No, nothing to do with that.
Thank God.
Okay, thank God.
And I don't like where that's going, but
Me either, Joel.
but
Get us out.
But just about the comebacks thing and the way that this year's playoffs ended, like it wasn't only me. A few different people asked Malone or Connolly over the last couple of years, like, where does this and the players as well, where does this resiliency come from?
Yeah.
Why are you guys so resilient? Like, which now that I think about it, it's kind of a weird question for them to answer.
Right,
Like, if I was one of them, I'm not sure if I would know how to answer that. But I think we did get an answer these playoffs. Like, a pretty big percentage of that was Jamal Murray.
Oh, of course,
like-
no question about it.
That Suns series, like, not only him as a player on the basketball court, but just like that spirit of, if we need to win this game and I need to score 54 points to do it, I'm gonna do it.
Right. If you guys want to go home. I'm not going home.
Sure.
Just
And I think Jokic absorbed some of that from Murray, actually. Like, he kind of turned it on more last year and this year, but
Yeah.
I think Murray brought that in, from
Great
the
point.
beginning first, more than Jokic.
I agree.
But
I agree.
it'll be good to have him back next season in the playoffs, because like that resiliency, I think a lot can be credited to Murray.
Right.
Those comebacks and all that.
No question about it. All right, so Joel's a big Star Wars guy. We've all draft prepped for the snake draft here. You can go ahead and pull
Kale,
them
do you
up.
want to sub in for me for the snake draft? Like, I love you, Joel. I'm just not feeling this.
Harrison called in sick when I told him we were going to snake draft Star Wars characters, and I told him you can't, man. You can't call in sick today. So I, too, am not a big Star Wars person. Brendan Vogt, not huge at it. But we did this on purpose. Joel, you should dominate. You should absolutely destroy us in this draft here.
We'll see, but I think you guys will mainly know the more popular characters.
Yeah,
so
Oh,
if
you're
I
gonna
get
be too
weird,
in the
like I might
weeds.
not get the most.
No,
This is
I'm
what
best.
happens to me.
I'm picking off
everything.
Rolling Stone's best 50 Star Wars characters. of all time. That's my draft.
Dude,
I
our
too have
audience
that
is like
not
niche
bad.
nerding.
Not a bad
though.
list.
You'll be fine. You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
All right. So the number 1 pick somehow went to Brendan. I don't know why.
Probably because I win all these drafts.
Yeah, exactly. Because I do feel like there's a really good top number 1.
It's downhill. It might not be what you're thinking. I'm gonna take Han Solo.
Is that crazy to you?
He's
No.
number 1 on the
You
Rolling
think that
Stone
would
big
have
board.
would that have been your number 1?
Probably 1 or 2. He's the
He's,
Yeah.
coolest.
he's
Yeah.
a 1 seed, right, Joel?
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I'm taking who I thought should be the number 1. You
I know what you're
yeah.
gonna do.
You just took Greg Oden. I'm gonna take Darth Vader. Darth Vader, iconic, all timer.
He is
I
iconic.
Well,
took Greg
got it.
Oden. Fuck out of here.
The Force,
He's
you know?
but Yeah,
That's right, Adam.
the Death
But
Star.
I get
Death
Ana-
Star was pretty cool.
Question, actually, Joel, you could be the judge on this. I also get Anakin Skywalker, right?
Yeah.
It's not that we have to like, break
Wait,
that
do
into
you?
2 characters or something, or do you
I-
feel like we should?
I would say yeah. That's
I'm with Joel.
You get the both. They're the same.
It's part of what
I mean,
makes him
from a certain
compelling.
point of view.
Okay. Yeah.
It's what makes it
Oh,
compelling, though, is the transition.
All right.
He killed
Oh, that's an
himself
easy number
according
1.
to
then.
Obi-Wan, but
Right.
I would say it's the same person.
Okay, same person. Hell yeah, man! I just
right,
got
Joel.
2 picks for 1.
Melt our faces off, bro.
Oh, it's my pick?
Yeah,
the-
your
you're
pick.
All right. I'm going to go with Lando Calrissian then.
Wow, really?
Not even on my radar.
Is that a reach? Is he
Well,
reaching?
what do we have here? All right.
He is pretty smooth. You're right. He is
He
pretty
is the
smooth.
coolest.
Yeah.
I said Han Solo was the coolest. I was wrong. Lando's the coolest.
Okay. All right.
You got back-to-back picks.
Back
Oh,
to back.
perfect. Give me Yoda. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
That's a
Give
good
me
one.
Yoda. I
Kinda
feel like
forgot
that's a
Yoda.
nice first pick. And then, I'm just.
This gets really hard.
So
I
good.
am now out of characters.
You guys
and
are
I'm
the
like,
worst.
give me Skywalker.
Which
Which
one?
one?
Luke.
All right.
Give me Luke Skywalker.
That's a solid 4th and 5th pick.
good
I
pick.
don't. I
Yoda and
disagree.
I feel solid with those picks. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Joel.
I don't think Luke's a great character.
Well, I'm gonna take Joel's opinion way more than Adam's. So,
He's a little whiny.
But that's what makes it great because he grows out of that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you, Joel.
He
Great
becomes
point.
a little crabby later.
That's what
in
makes
life, we
the
let out.
beginning of Return of the Jedi on Jabba's barge so much more satisfying when he finally, Jedi Luke finally comes out.
Right,
Totally.
he's a badass. and
Couldn't
he's
have said it
past
better
his,
myself.
His petulant kind of.
Real coming of age.
But he is definitely whiny in the first one. I was going into Tashi Station to pick up some power.
Yeah. Like, what was he thinking there?
Did you get that reference? Nope.
Let's go, Joel. Joel, you got your second rounder here.
Oh, I lead the second round?
Yeah. It's
Well,
a snake
we're
draft.
snake drafting.
Oh,
so
it's
back
snake
up.
draft. Okay. Well, then,
Draft
I
board's
guess
right there if you need to look at it.
I'll go with Greedo.
Wow, I saw him ranked super high, and I never
What is he on
understood
this
why.
He should be ranked super high. He's super cool.
15th on this board.
All right, I'm gonna take Mando.
Okay.
I
A
knew
little
you were
bit of a
gonna do
reach.
that.
You knew I was. Is that who you
I
wanted?
knew you would. No, I'm good. I know exactly where I'm going.
I'm taking. Some people say it's Jar Jar, and some people say it's Mando. It's. You did this last time when I said see the future on superpowers. You put foresight. If you put Mandalorian, everybody will know who.
Character's name, though.
But he is the Mandalorian. What would
Yeah,
you put?
that's why you
for
lost.
more
Adam.
people to know it. That is why I lost. People are like foresight. What is that? Like wisdom or something? Like, no, it's seeing the future, which is very valuable.
I thought you lost because it's a conspiracy.
It is a conspiracy.
Here we go.
All right, Joe. What?
Okay, back-to-back picks, Brennan.
Yeah, this is
Mando.
going to end up working as a set here, all three of these. I'll take Chewbacca, and then I'll take Boba Fett, and I'll see you losers at the finish line.
Man, Boba Fett's a good one too, man. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
He
too.
was on my board.
He was on my board for sure.
You guys let Brennan just demolish you there.
I know he really did. Now you guys are gonna think that I'm actually playing here, but this one is an important one to me. I learned it from The Mandalorian, and then ended up doing my research and learning more. Very easily gonna be my Ahsoka Tano.
Nice. That's a good
Nice,
pick. I'm very
nice.
surprised
Told
you
you.
said
Nice
that.
You
pick.
didn't realize I knew.
Yeah,
I know.
dude.
I know my
Nice
Star
pick.
Wars.
No, you don't, but that's good.
You're right. I don't, but I knew that one.
All right. Is it me?
Yeah. How
Yeah,
did you
it's you.
feel? That's pretty good, right? The reach. Damn it.
I'm a movies guy.
Okay. All right. All right.
I've never really
Not-
delved too deeply into the animated
Okay.
stuff. But I know Ahsoka is like
Okay.
hugely popular
Yeah,
among.
badass, pretty badass, and she's in that one episode, and she was dope. All
That's
right.
true, yeah. So I guess I already got Lando, so I'm going to go with Lobot next.
Who?
Lobot's the guy with the headphones who Lando hangs out with on Cloud City.
Okay.
These
doesn't
are such deep cuts, man.
I love the way he's schooling us without any.
Told you I was going to
computer.
get weird. So
Yeah.
here we go.
You're the
How does he
best.
spell that, Joel?
Lobot. Lobot.
Okay. All right.
All right, I'm going to take a bit of a package deal as well with my next 2 picks. Give me C3PO and then give me R2D2.
Damn. Let's go.
That is getting them together is actually super smart.
You got to get them
That's
together.
super smart to get them. You got. Damn it! Look at his lineup.
This is competitive.
He's gonna murder
This
us.
is competitive.
Look at this lineup: Yoda, Luke Skywalker. Damn it! You're so good at this, Wind. Oh, you are definitely gonna murder me. All right, I'm going. I had somebody way down the line here.
God, I'm so proud of those 2 picks.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah.
Well, I got to go with Princess Leia.
Yeah,
She
solid.
was number 2 on the top 50 big board.
Yeah, this is terrible. that
So
none of us
a
took
real
her.
a real faller.
A real faller. The medical didn't
She
check
really
it out.
fell. Yeah, she was red flagged.
God damn it! I'm gonna get my ass kicked again. I can already see it. I don't know, but he's not that great of a character.
I know, I'm
it's a
trying to
great
tank you.
actor. A great actor. Who did I just had? I had one pulled up that I was very excited
Mace
about.
Windu.
No, it's the guy that. His name is apparently Chirrut Imwe.
Who?
Chirrut Imwe
Yeah,
from Rogue One.
yeah, from Rogue One.
yes,
Really liked
yes.
him. He was fun.
Okay.
CHIRRUT space IMWE.
CHIRRUT.
That's right.
Then what?
Yeah.
IMWE.
He's like
Yeah,
the blind samurai guy. Like, I am
Yeah.
one with the Force.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a badass. Not only is he a Jedi, but he's blind.
All right, I'll take Obi-Wan.
Oh my god! In the 4th round.
Damn it! I should have.
Doing.
I forgot. I kind of forgot he was off the board. Or he was still on the board. Damn it! You're right. That's a way better pick than mine. All right, this one I deserve to take.
Hey,
last.
can I take-
deserve-
hey,
this is the
Kale.
first time.
Can I take Baby Yoda?
Yeah, his name. Well, if you could say his name, you can.
How do you want me to put it?
His real name.
Do I get bonus points if I know
Can
it?
you put
I know
Baby
it too.
Yoda in parentheses though, just so I pick up all the votes?
That's such a good point. Man,
It's Grogu.
if I'm gonna lose, I might as well just lose all the way.
Dude.
I gotta be honest, Vogt just absolutely murdered you guys.
All right, I'm taking.
Looks good
I'm
too.
taking Finn. Taking him.
Okay.
Do you want to write his like character arc? Do you want to finish it for the writers because they never got around to
Is
it?
this my 4th or 5th pick?
This is your
The
fifth
draft
pick.
board's right there.
Final pick?
Joel hasn't even
my eyes.
dialed in.
But
Hell yeah, dude.
I think I'm going to choose one for the real Star Wars fans and go
Oh,
with
do it.
Will
Be
Rowe Hood.
yourself, man.
Okay.
Will Rowe Hood. That's WILROW.
Who is this?
And then Hood. He's in the Empire Strikes Back, and he runs through Cloud City when they're evacuating, carrying what later was found out to be an ice cream maker from Sears. And he became kind of a cult favorite Star Wars character,
Incredible.
Will Rowe Hood.
Absolutely incredible. God, I feel so bad about my draft. This is the first one I deserve to lose. I'll probably win for no reason.
WILROW. Hood.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay,
I
Harrison,
will-
finish out the perfect
And I
draft.
will lose because of that, but I don't care.
I'll wrap up the draft with Darth Maul.
No Jabba the Hutt, dude.
Oh, Jabba the Hutt didn't go. Damn it.
Palpatine didn't go. That was my
Palpatine.
alternate.
Man, we
Darth Maul, dude, the double-ended lightsaber.
yeah, that's right. Harrison.
Revolutionary.
That's right.
Revolutionary. I've never
revolutionary.
seen that before.
Damn it, man. We left a lot of good ones on the board.
Yeah.
We left a lot of good ones on the board. Joel, it was fun, man. It was fun having you
Absolutely.
here.
I'm so glad to finally meet you guys face to face and to
Yeah, man.
see this place
yeah.
in person. So.
I was really stoked to meet you until we locked eyes and I realized you had no clue who I was. But now I'm glad to have met you.
I've just seen these guys a lot more.
That's
No,
a
I'm
great
just
point.
kidding, Joel. I
It's a
don't.
great
We
point.
literally
Maybe they're
don't know
more
each
like
other.
attention
Yeah.
hounds. They kind of put themselves out there.
Well,
True.
at
That's
least
so
one
true.
of them.
At least one. You are so mean to
I
me.
know. I'm sorry.
Everybody, don't forget, tomorrow is going to be an absolutely fantastic
Yeah.
day here at the DNVR Bar. We have two things going on that will be fantastic. You're going to get Thursday, the draft live. We're going to have it playing through the speaker. We're going to have all kinds of cool stuff going on. We have a wheel. I don't want to spoil a big event tomorrow, but guys, we have a wheel. We're going to have a ceremonial spinning of the wheel. It lands at like a Wheel of Fortune type thing. It lands on a thing, some prediction for the night, and if that prediction comes true, free drinks, free shot for everybody in the
Whoa.
bar. Free
Hell
shot.
yeah.
We're gonna start doing this for every game. Every watch
Love
party,
it.
we're going to have some type of event. Like during games, it'll be like Bol makes a 3 or something. You know, it'll be like an obscure thing.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
it-
not that one.
It just gives you a crazy thing to root for. Yeah, Jokic triple-double, whatever. So it should be a lot of fun. I look forward to doing that. All right, everybody,
be
we'll see you
awesome.
tomorrow for the draft.
Peace.